Hello again. My name is Guevera Yao. I'm the Executive Director for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce U.S. Africa Business Center here in Washington, D.C., where I lead our Northwest and Central Africa portfolio, along with our trade and investment task forces. I would like to welcome our audience across the continent and also here in D.C., in the U.S., to this very important conversation on boosting intra-Africa trade and investment through digitization and e-commerce. Today we have with us three distinguished speakers who from the continent who will help us unpack this very important topic. First, I would like to start in alphabetical order. First, Mr. Bossman Kwapong is the country director of MasterCard in Ghana. He is responsible for the strategic delivery of MasterCard business objective in Ghana. He has over 20 years of experience in financial services industry, including leadership role in business development, banking operation, client experience, payment, and digital innovation. Prior to joining MasterCard, Mr. Bossman was worked with Standard Chartered Bank. Next, I would like to introduce Ms. Jessica Poku. She is the country manager for Uber in Ghana. She is extremely passionate about using the tech to impact the social and economic development of the continent. Jessica has extensive background in risk management, corporate finance, marketing. Prior to joining Uber, she also worked for Google and the First Atlantic Bank. Next, we have Ms. Adoma Peprah, the country manager of Visa in Ghana, where she oversees all the visa operations in the country. She is a financial service professional with extensive experience in payment and banking. Prior to joining Visa, she worked for Standard Bank in a variety of senior management across both retail and corporate and investment. I would like to welcome all of you here to this interesting and important conversation. But before I turn to the distinguished panelists, I would like to take a moment to share with you the current state of play in the digitalization and e-commerce in Africa, and that will help us set the stage for our conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we know. We know that the novel coronavirus is really accelerating digital transformation and underscoring the need to harness the digital economy, including e-commerce, as a driver for growth and innovation on the continent. According to an estimate by McKinsey, COVID has really accelerated digitization by 7 years globally. The global digital economy is projected at 23 trillion by 2025, representing roughly 24% of the world GDP. In Africa, the contribution of the digital economy to Africa economy is estimated at 180 billion by 2025, and is poised to grow to 712 billion by 2050. As we can see, demand has really increased significantly for teleworking, remote learning, teleconferencing, online health service, e-commerce, and digital payment. And then we see also that the new products and services are also emerging as we speak. The health crisis has led to increased demand for e-commerce in Africa. Kenya and Ghana register an increment of 79% in online purchases. In South Africa, online shopping grew to 68%. Given the outbreak of the pandemic and the rapid expansion of this sector, in the February of last year, the Assembly of Head of State and Government of the African Union decided to include a phase 3 negotiation of the AfCFTA, focusing on e-commerce immediately after the conclusion of phase 2. Even this year, we learned that this has been brought back into the phase 2 to making sure that there is work expedient work on this protocol. As we're speaking, there is a scoping exercise to really define the content of this. And this really has been done in part to ensure that new laws and regulations are harmonized and support cross-border e-commerce development across the continent. So today, it's really a pleasure to have our distinguished speakers to share their perspective on how to boost intra-Africa trade and investment through digitization and e-commerce in the context of AfCFTA. Ladies and gentlemen, we have about 30 minutes to unpack this important topic. So I would like to dive straight into the conversation, dispensing you from any opening statements. I would like to start in alphabetical order with you, Mr. Bossman Kwapong from MasterCard. In your view, and looking at the trend I just painted, what are the opportunity for digitization and e-commerce in promoting intra-Africa trade? What are MasterCard experience promoting this sector in Africa? And also what lesson can you really draw from this going throughout the whole continent? I mean, it's a 3-in-1, but feel free to pick any angle that you like. The floor is yours, please. So,
digitization obviously has significant advantage and gains for a number of players in the industry. And MasterCard has a number of ways they support businesses in this sector. I will want to just give you a bit of perspective on how digitization has increased access to financial services in the Africa and Middle East region. So if you look at the Middle East and Africa region, 79% of SMEs have identified easier access to credit as one of the key drivers for their growth. This means that if we are able to positively impact SMEs with finance, then they would be able to enhance their business. MasterCard micro credit program is one of the key ways that we are able to impact. And we are partnering with banks in Ghana and Africa to deliver these services, looking at the ecosystem of FMCGs to deliver these services. The increased penetration of mobile in Africa gives us that benefit. If you look at it, as of 2020, it is estimated that over 636 million Africans have SIM connections, which is 3/4 of the population in Africa. And according to the GSMA latest report released in March 2021, mobile money payments have transformed the payment landscape in Africa. And therefore, we see partnership as one of the key areas in developing and enhancing services that we deliver to consumers, retailers, and merchants across Africa. And our partnership with companies like Airtel, Asante Financial Services, have helped release a pay-on-demand solution platform, which was built by our MasterCard lab to bring convenient financial services to our client. Samsung, which leveraging on Samsung pay-on-demand mobile services, Asante extensive insights into digital finance and our innovative platform has been effective in providing loans to consumers and leveraging on Airtel expertise to deliver this product. I'll pause here. These are some of the things that MasterCard has been doing in enhancing trade in Africa.
Thank you for sharing this perspective. I'll get back to you very soon. But for now, I'd like to pivot to Ms. Jessica Poku from Uber. Ms. Jessica, I just want to tell you that we have really noticed that the gig economy has transformed lives and brought people in from the informal sector to the formal sector. AfCFTA will help bring down borders and bring greater trade to the region, as was explained by the representative from AfCFTA Secretariat. Where do you see Uber role when it comes to the flow of goods, specifically on the delivery side? Can you expand a little bit on that and share your experience in Ghana? Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. So from our perspective, we know that people are always looking for ways to get goods and other necessities delivered quickly and conveniently. And businesses are also looking for better ways to serve their customers. And the platform is there for that, to move things and people quickly. And during the pandemic especially, we pivoted to adapt our offerings to meet these changing needs and to scale globally. So we're continuing to trial various new ideas to see what works, to see how consumers and businesses respond, and what the unit economics of these types of services also look like. Now, for the gig economy, this further unlocks opportunities for drivers, right? And we continue to contribute, to be a key contributor across economies on the continent, and we're trying to create part-time work across several segments of the population. And by leveraging this technology and the platform to surface work where it is available, our goal is to connect drivers and couriers to the most pressing needs of the people and businesses in the community, bringing the work that matters to the earners who need it, who are the drivers and the couriers. So easy access is our priority. And with AfCFTA, it will facilitate movement of persons and goods across the region in order to deepen economic integration and development.
Thank you for sharing that perspective. I would like now to transition to Ms. Adoma Peprah. We have seen from Visa, of course, we have seen that Fintech really has been flourishing a lot in the continent over the past years. How can the international and domestic Fintech work together to promote digitization and e-commerce on the continent? Can you share your perspective, please?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Yao, for having me on this panel. So there are three ways that we've seen how local fintechs have partnered with international players to leverage on their capabilities. And the three main ways we've seen them is around how they, in partnership, have been able to improve their offering to merchants. Number two, around localization of collections. And number three is really around enabling the ease of payments. Now, I'll just give you a brief example of each one of them. In terms of improving the offering to merchants, Paystack and Shopify have struck an arrangement. So through that, merchants have access to Shopify and they're able to receive payments from everywhere across the world. So both, if you think about merchants here in Ghana, they can accept payments here locally and then also from overseas. So through that partnership, has been able to enable that. Now, around localization of collections, the classic example of that is between Flutterwave and Netflix. So what's happened is that Flutterwave and Netflix have partnered. So Flutterwave is actually the domestic partner that's helping to collect local currency. So how that benefits is that it guards against fluctuation against the dollar. So Netflix users have more certainty in terms of what it is that they pay. And also, if you think about the likes of countries like Nigeria, where there is shortage of FX currency, it doesn't come to play here. And then thirdly, around enabling the ease of payments. And again, Flutterwave is playing a great role in terms of this. So they have partnered with PayPal and then also Alibaba so that they can accept payments from anywhere else. So they've integrated PayPal and Alipay into their payment apps. So these are some of the ways that you're seeing how partnerships between local fintechs and international organizations is really changing the way e-commerce happens on the continent.
Yeah, thank you. That's extremely great and really encouraging to see that trend. Mr. Kwapong, sorry, I would like to follow up on the perspective you shared earlier on the opportunity for digitalization and e-commerce in the continent. I would like you to just reflect a little bit with us and tell us, in your view, what are the long-term challenges digitization and e-commerce can pose to African economy, specifically the domestic businesses, and how can these challenges be addressed? Do you see any challenge at all?
Yes, there are a number of challenges that we see, and as I was saying earlier, digitization, we need to first of all see the advantages that digitization gives to the African economies. And at MasterCard, we ensure we stay at the game, ahead of the game, through our continuous innovation and investing in ensuring that we solve some of these ongoing issues around digitization. There are two main items that I want to highlight here. Digitization and e-commerce thrive on efficient mobile service. And therefore, one of the key challenges that we see in the African sub-region is around disruption to mobile services. And this can significantly lead to loss of business, revenue loss to the businesses and the consumers, and even loss of consumers in loss of confidence in products and services. This we have seen a lot of the mobile service companies investing significantly in this area as a way of minimizing distractions as much as possible. So one of the key solutions that we see is partnering with some of the international telcos to make sure that services the disruptions to services are as minimal as possible. We see cyber security as one of the big pieces that has come up as a result of digitization and e-commerce. If you see, the advent of COVID has led to an increase in digital and e-commerce services. It has also led to a 10-fold increase in cybercrime or cybersecurity-related issues. At MasterCard, we have invested significantly in this area as a way of minimizing the impact or reducing the incidence of cyber fraud. We acquired a company called New Data Security as a way of providing cybersecurity services in minimizing and reducing the incidence of cybersecurity issues. MasterCard has committed over 250 million over the next couple of years in investment, providing financial support as a way of minimizing cybersecurity activities in the world and in the sub-region. Just to summarize, we see two main issues that impact the digitization and e-commerce agenda in the long term, and these are disruption to mobile services and cybersecurity. This we believe is being resolved through significant investment by the mobile services companies and MasterCard investment in the cybersecurity area. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the cyber issue is definitely a very important aspect of the digital economy, and I think more and more we see people being trained and more sensitization on the cyber security front. But I would like to move and follow up with Uber. What I can see is that Uber has really helped revolutionize the entrepreneurship model and reduce informality, as I was talking about, as part of a growing number of digital platforms in virtual marketplace. Can you share with us how Uber partnership across digital economy and financial services are contributing to the growth of this ecosystem? I'm talking about the digital economy, digitization and e-commerce in Ghana. Can you share just your experience on really how this Uber is really helping to really move this sector forward?
Okay, great. So, like we keep alluding to the pandemic, especially, a lot has changed. and digital transformation has been accelerated considerably, because we've been forced to embrace it. And we need to continue to encourage that, because the benefits that technology activates in a society are useful. And what we have seen, I think our mission hasn't changed, right? Pre-COVID and now, our mission hasn't changed. We still want to create economic opportunities in the markets that we're live in. We still want to move things and people around, and we're still committed to doing that. What we've seen, though, is that the technological trends tend to move much faster than regulation in markets. And while we're unlocking these innovative new models and services, policy framework also needs to move at a similar pace in order to support that innovation and keep that growth moving steadily. So what Uber has taken upon itself to do is to engage more closely with governments and regulators in the regions, right? To encourage us to improve the growth rather than over-regulating the industry, which can stifle growth. And so we're committed to doing that. And we're doing that even more now, especially because we're working hand in hand with governments. So, for example, with vaccine distribution in the markets across the region, we try to provide easy access to vaccine sites by working with regulators and public health authorities, encouraging the adherence to WHO protocol using our platform and using our app and our CRM. We're just committed also to pivoting to help unlock further economic opportunities for drivers and couriers. So we partner with the cities and we continue to develop frameworks. So we will propose where regulation does not exist, because before the smartphone era, a lot of these regulations existed. And so we, where possible, will propose favorable, reasonable regulation that will encourage growth and lead to the development of the continent through tech. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to move to Ms. Peprah from Visa. I know Visa has been extremely active on the continent, also in Ghana. What experience? What are the experience of promoting digitization and e-commerce in Africa, and specifically in Ghana? And what experience can be drawn for the continent-wide scale-up? Really scaling up this digitization, which is extremely important for the growth of the continent. What experience can you share, and what do you think can be done?
Great question. And at Visa, it's something that we have thought about quite substantially and have done extensive research on. So during 2020, at the height of the lockdown, we did a survey. Now, our region, similar to what Bossman is talking about, is an area called Central Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And so we embarked on quite extensive studies, and there's some really interesting feedback that I would like to share with you. So I think Bossman made mention of this as well. In terms of what we realize are that South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya were three of the countries that had acceleration in terms of e-commerce. And what was also very encouraging to hear about is the fact that Ghana came in at a very, very close fourth. Actually, Kenya and Ghana were kind of tied at the third place, but there were some other intricacies that kind of put Kenya before Ghana. Also, what we realize is that e-commerce in sub-Saharan Africa grew by 5% when compared to the prior year. There were also certain changes in the way that people shopped. We saw that 68% of people went to the grocery store less, and 71% of people also went to the pharmacies less, and 67% of people went to or used public transport a lot less. So these are all ways that people were trying to curtail the exposure to environments that they felt maybe prone to the pandemic. And all of these people, what they did was they actually shopped online. And also what we realized as well as the consumer attitudes change. We saw that 66% of people were buying in bulk in order to be able to minimize the number of trips that they took to the shop. 56% of people were avoiding rush hours, and 68% of people were shopping for essentials only. So now the thing is, when you hear about all these different things, you realize that people's shopping needs and what they require has changed. And so merchants need to come to the party in terms of putting together solutions that will work for these people. And so what we've seen is that the most important e-commerce enablers are really three important things: ability to access financial services, digital payment channels, and mobile shopping. And this is taking hold across all of sub-Saharan Africa. And we are seeing that across sub-Saharan Africa, the region has recorded year-on-year growth of about 42% between 2019 and 2020. So these are all things that are shifting, and people just need to be aware of it so that they can put the right infrastructure in place so that people can consume and adopt e-commerce better.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bossman, I think I would like to come back to you now and maybe speak about something a bit different, but also dear to your heart. I know that MasterCard has made a global commitment to connect about 25 million women entrepreneurs to the digital economy by 2025. In a new inaugural study, the MasterCard Middle East and Africa SME Confidence Index revealed that over 80% of women entrepreneurs have digital readiness for their business. I know that you have been really supporting women entrepreneur in Ghana. Can you share a little bit your experience on this, and maybe expand and tell us how do you see MasterCard role in helping digitization and e-commerce, specifically when it comes to women?
I think one of the key activities that we realize women's engaging or support in engaging in is around the farming activities. And one of the ways MasterCard has supported this is through MasterCard Farming Network. And this platform provides the opportunity for agro businesses through either be it farmer groups to put their products and services on a platform that buyers and sellers can take advantage on. So this platform is an extensive platform that engages both ends in the agriculture ecosystem. And we have seen that women are one of the key beneficiaries of such an initiative. The other piece that MasterCard has done in Ghana is what I was talking earlier around the microcredit program. Once again, we have seen through our engagement with FMCGs that one of the key beneficiaries of this significant activity are women groups who are taking advantage to get small credit to expand their business and to also take advantage and make digital payments as part of these initiatives. So those are the two big pieces that we have seen MasterCard improve and enhance the life of women in Ghana. And this initiative have been done in countries like Tanzania, Uganda, and we are seeing the benefits. So just to leave it at these two examples of how MasterCard is impacting women groups in Ghana.
Thank you very much for this perspective. I know we are getting very close to the end of our session, unfortunately. So I would like to pose this question, but I also want you to take this as an opportunity for you to make some closing remarks or speak about any other aspect topic that you like before we close up. So coming back to Uber, I know, Mr. Poku, that you said you highlighted really the importance of partnership. In your view, what more can government do to help address some of the issue around infrastructure as a means to propelling the growth of e-commerce and digitization on the continent.
Right, thank you. So, like I said, Uber is pro-regulation, and where governments really come in when it comes to tech is trying to ensure that regulations are favorable and will support and not stifle tech. So, like I was saying earlier, because policies were drafted before smartphones and apps existed, we're looking to work with them to update these regulations. And so we enter into consultative processes where applications and other tech companies are invited as stakeholders to submit points of view and to submit suggestions for updates. So governments can assist this way. They can assist with lowering red tape. Uber is also a significant net contributor to local economies where we operated, and we are committed to helping, to being a responsible citizen, a corporate citizen, both in Ghana and globally. So because there's so many opportunities present in Africa for e-commerce, and businesses are already struggling with challenges around infrastructure, financial inclusion, logistics, really the key thing that we require and engage government to support us with is just lowering that red tape. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Peprah, I think I would like to for you to share your perspective. As I was telling earlier, the AfCFTA Secretariat is really working now on scoping exercise for the e-commerce protocol. As an active worker in that space, what would you like to see from the Secretariat and even from the government in the e-commerce protocol? But more generally, what do you think are the challenges and what should be done by the government, but also by the Secretariat? And use it as a way of closing, if I may.
Sure, thank you. I think this is a very, very important conversation. And if you're to see e-commerce growing, I think there's a few things that need to be put in place to be able to enable that. There are a number of things that I could go on and on and on about. For example, addressing tariff barriers, improving security, looking at ease of movement. If I want to go to Cameroon, for example, let me not have to go to Europe first before I come back down into Africa. Let's look at adoption of common standards for goods and services. I think the Continental Free Trade can put together certain minimum standards so that we can ensure that there isn't a dumping of inferior goods into the African market. I think they can really do a lot around that. Another thing is really around, and this is very dear to my heart, and I'm sure to my other colleagues on the panel, is around multi-currency settlement. I know that the Continental Free Trade and AfCFTA are working on the settlement service and the PAPS. Really, one of the key things around trade on the continent is around multi-currency settlement. So I am trading in cedis. I want to pay somebody in South Africa. I have to go and change to dollars and then dollars into rands. And doing all of those different exchanges, you lose some value. So we need to be able to buffer against those currency fluctuations. And so being able to have something that enables multi-currency settlements easily will be very, very helpful. Another thing I want to talk about is really around the harmonization of regional identity requirements. So for me here in Ghana, there's certain things that are in place to identify individuals and companies. But if I go to Nigeria, for example, it is different. So what I have in Ghana is possibly closed loop. And so it won't have any applicability next door in Nigeria. So what can we do around harmonization of the regional identity requirements so that there is a common way of identifying individuals, companies, and it makes for trade go easier? And then lastly, what I want to talk about is really around incentives. So we all know that Twitter has decided to settle in Ghana and have their African representative office. We need more Twitters in the African economy. And so governments can come in there through tax holidays, rebates, granting of grants and loans, creating of industrial zones, which can also help bring international companies into Ghana, but also promote local industries. And so I think if we have all of these different things in place, it will really help and go a long way in terms of helping to make sure that e-commerce continues to grow. I think the e-commerce phenomenon that we have seen through the pandemic is here to stay. It's not to change anytime soon. And I think having some of these elements in play will just really help accelerate that.
Thank you very much for this perspective. Mr. Bossman, I think I will remiss if I don't come back to you for you to offer some closing remarks. But before you do that, I just want to share just some few statistics here. What we notice is that the unanticipated rapid expansion of the e-commerce has really left policy and regulation on the back foot in the continent. Many African countries currently lack adequate legislation. Just to give you some example, 61% of African countries have electronic transaction legislation, 46% have digital consumer protection, 50% have privacy and data protection, 72% have cyber crime legislation. You were just talking about, the importance of cyber security. In your view, and looking at also what is being done at the AfCFTA Secretariat, where they are currently working on the scoping of the e-commerce protocol. From your perspective, what more should be done? What would you like to see from the Secretariat and even from the government to see this sector continue to flourish in a very secure manner? Thank you.
I think between the Secretariat and the government, there are a lot that they are doing. And I'll sort of highlight some of the key things that we have seen happen in the Ghanaian economy. So if you see, there are 4 legal frameworks that are in existence that support e-commerce and activities of trade within the Ghana country. So if you see the GIPC Act 865, if you see the Payment and Services Act, you see the Cybersecurity Act. These are frameworks that government is putting in place to support and regulate the activities of digital and payment services companies. So if you also look at government direction around the national ID, the national address system, the SIM re-registration, which the Minister of Communications spoke about last couple of weeks, are key enabling factors that government is doing to enhance. I think that what we would like to see is a lot more cooperation and partnership between government and private sector to deliver some of these enhanced solutions. Because if you look at digital payments, the government cannot do it alone. It needs to partner with private sector and global companies to deliver this on an ongoing basis. When you look at the Secretariat, looking at the 2 main benefits that AfCFTA can support or would benefit African countries, which is boosting economic activities and intra-trade diversity, we believe that the Secretariat needs to do a little bit more engagement with stakeholders and businesses in each of these individual countries around the activities so that they can partner and take advantage of the opportunities that it comes along. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for this, and those would be my closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is really bringing us to the end of this interesting session. It was short, but straight to the point on the importance of the e-commerce. And maybe just like to end with this new statistic to really give you some good outlook and prospect. In West Africa, we have about 42% of internet users. In Ghana, I think it's about 50%. About 46.5% annual growth that we have seen in the total value of consumer good e-commerce in Ghana. 57% of Ghana population have an account with a financial institution. We've seen that these are really good statistics and good outlook that tells us that this sector indeed is very, very important and there is a lot that the continent and Ghana can benefit from really expanding this very specific sector. We have unfortunately come to the end of this interesting conversation. I know we have many more opportunity to speak about this topic. Remember, this event is 2 days. Tomorrow we have 2 vibrant panel discussions. But for now, I would just like to end here and thank our panelists for their time. You have seen those are examples of US company that are extremely successful in the continent and in Ghana in particular. I would like to thank you, Mr. Bossman. I'd like to thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Ms. Peprah, for your time. And I want to wish you a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Now we have come to the end of this session, but I would like to turn to the Vice President of AmCham, who will be giving some closing remarks for this session, the session of the day. Again, tomorrow we have 2 more panel discussions. Mr. Poku Shom is the Vice President of AmCham Ghana. He is the country representative for Delta Airlines in Ghana. What you need to know about this gentleman is that he's an entrepreneur behind the startup and development of various companies, bringing each of them to a commercial success. He's been doing that since 1988. In 2006, he founded the Aviation Alliance to represent Delta Airline as Ghana dedicated general sales agent, and has led the company to win several awards, including the CIMG Airline of the Year Award, 3 National Aviation Award, and Executive Excellence Award for the International Airline of the Year. He has a lot of accolades. In 2019, he was honored with the CEO of the Year Airline Sector Award at the 4th Ghana CEO Summit. He's also been named as the Outstanding Business Leader of the Year Award in the aviation sector. And the list goes on and on. We are extremely happy and fortunate to have him as part of the AmCham network, as again, he's the Vice President of the AmCham Ghana. Without further ado, I would like to turn to you, Mr. Poku Shom. The floor is yours for the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yao. And good afternoon from Accra, everybody. All protocols observed. On behalf of the American Chamber of Commerce Ghana and the US Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank you all for your participation on the first day of this year's US-Ghana Business Forum. It is indeed my pleasure to be here, especially as the forum theme for 2021 comes on the back of Ghana's hosting of the Africa Continent Free Trade Area Secretariat, and particularly as this forum is held in the first year of the commencement of trading through AfCFTA. At his swearing in as the Secretary General of the Free Trade Area Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele Mene said, "The AfCFTA is a critical response to Africa's developmental challenges." And he further went on to conclude, among many others, that its creation sends a strong signal to the international investor community that Africa is open for business, based on a single rule book for trade and investment. This statement was echoed by our keynote speaker today, the Honorable Alan Chematin, when he alluded briefly in his speech of the opportunity of Africa as a single economic market under AfCFTA. I trust this first day's discussions have been beneficial to you, your industry, or the government agency you represent in providing impetus to the knowledge and appreciation you already have of the tremendous opportunities the continent presents to investors of all types and sizes. Like other speakers have done, I also want to convey special appreciation to the opening session speakers. And I'll start off by thanking our keynote speaker for today, the Honorable Alan Chematin, Minister of Trade and Industry of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you also to the Deputy Assistant U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, Bennett Harmon. Thank you for your keynote remarks. Her Excellency Ambassador Stephanie Sullivan, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, as always, thank you for all you do in support of U.S. businesses and their partners in Ghana, and for sharing remarks earlier today. Thanks also to Scott Eisner, President of the U.S. Africa Business Center at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Guevera Yao, Executive Director at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and Mr. Prudence Sebahizi, Senior Technical Advisor on AfCFTA. We appreciate your kickstarting of the important conversation around Africa free trade in U.S.-Africa business relations. And of course, finally, our very own Aisha Bedue Ibe, President of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. Indeed, today's discussions have provided additional insights into how digitization and its ecosystem of business opportunities could shape and influence trade and investment between the United States, Ghana, and in fact, the rest of the continent. This is indeed a transformational and intriguing prospect, which is often misunderstood and totally underestimated by the sheer scale and cyber risk it presents. We would like to thank the following industry experts who joined us today to provide some clarity to this topic: Jessica Poku from Uber, Adoma Peprah from Visa, and Bossman Kwapong from MasterCard. Participants of the forum all over the world have benefited from the knowledge and experience of private sector players in both the US and Ghanaian economies in day one of this year's event. However, all AmCham member companies, took on the additional responsibility of supporting this year's forum through sponsorships. It is my pleasure to acknowledge in the gold sponsor category, Cummins, Cosmos Energy, and Coca-Cola. And in the silver category, Masco Foods, KFC sole franchisee for Ghana, and corporate law firm Kimathi & Partners. Finally, allow me to acknowledge this year's forum partners: the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Commercial Service of the United States Department of Commerce, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and the Ghana Houston Chamber of Commerce for all their contributions to this year's forum. Tomorrow, on the second and last day of the forum, Her Excellency Hajia Alima Mahama, Ghana's ambassador to the United States of America, will address the forum on the topic, harnessing the diaspora to promote trade and investment between the United States and Ghana. We shall also have Mr. Yofi Grant, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, speak on investment opportunities in Ghana for US investors in the context of AfCFTA. Panel discussions will feature leaders of the US business community in Ghana and the US, who will discuss prospects in Ghana's extractive, energy, and infrastructure sectors, and developing US-Ghana partnerships in manufacturing, services, and the recent wave of franchising we're witnessing all over the continent. Certainly not to be missed. On that note, I thank you for joining us and wish you a most wonderful afternoon. Thank you.